everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming to the reading of our first ever book, The Amanda Dossier. Thank you all so much. Before we begin, this is a political book. This is a political time we are all in. And so we are asking for everybody in these unprecedented times to register to vote. The vote registration closes tomorrow, so if you haven't registered already, think about registering. So thank you guys.
Just a bit about the evening. We're going to do a reading, a bit of each chapter, and then we'll do a Q&A afterwards if anyone has any questions. And then afterwards we're going to do some mingling. We have books for sale over there, and we'll do a signing as well.
Yeah, so most of you guys are probably asking like how this magnificent creation came to be. And if you just picture this apartment 3 months ago, a little brisk outside, and we all found each other huddled together on the porch. And we realized not 2 weeks away was Write a Novel November, which Theo pointed out. And so we decided that it was our obligation, our destiny, whatever you will, to write this novel. And we did just that. None of us saw each other's chapters. Theo gave us each a little tagline explaining what could, what might happen in each of our chapters, and then we let our creativity just take the wheel from there.
Yeah.
So just to catch everybody up to speed on what occurs in the book, just so you're not, being thrown in blind when we read to you. So Amanda's our main character, and she's interning for a Republican senator named Charles Carroll. And Senator Carroll is part of the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee. The election is coming up, gasp, and the incumbent Republicans, for whom Carl is totally a pawn of, want to get reelected. A lot of their campaign is based around the economic success spearheaded by this said committee. Amanda is assigned to the committee, and she starts to notice that things really aren't adding up. Just to really cut to the juicy part of the plot. She discovers that all of the new businesses that are being created by this committee are really just shell businesses for Tesla. You stink! There's also a love triangle, obviously, between Amanda and her coworker Hank. And also her ex, who happens to work at the White House as well, named Richard. So if you see those names, you know what they mean. The president is also Charles, last name Gunkel. And the vice president is Philippe Philip Phillips. This is a line, I can't take credit for this line. This is a line that Theo put on bookbaby.com if you want to purchase our book online. And it reads, at points it might not make sense, but nothing in this crazy world we live in makes any sense either. So why do we have to pretend that it does? And I think that just really speaks to the nature.
And so before we begin the reading, I wanted to give everybody sort of an insight into how we felt during the writing process. I'm sure that's on the forefront of everyone's mind, so I think we're going to go down the line and kind of give a little, a brief description of the feeling of the writing of all this. So, Emma, if you would like to go first.
Yes. So, I think my main feeling was I'd pull it up every day at work. I had a lot of downtime. I would kind of just stare at the dock for hours and hours, because they always say that most of the writing process is happening up here. So it was a lot of weeks of that, and then it was a few condensed days of just getting all that, everything happening up here just on the page. And I feel like it was hard, but the final product is obviously magnificent, and that's what matters the most.
Yeah, you know, I think it was nice to sink my teeth into a project and also put my English degree to great use. I'm really thankful for that opportunity. You know, I definitely felt a little stressed about the deadline. You know, 3 weeks for a chapter is a lot. But you know what? We did it. We really came together. I'm so glad I had my co-authors to really help push me through, even though they couldn't really help me in terms of where I was going with the plot. Well, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, for me, it sucked and I didn't like doing it. It felt like doing homework. You know, I never took an English class at school, so it's been a while since I've written this much at one time. There was one day where he and I went to the library together, and I think we stayed for like 15 minutes. So we went and got coffee. So, but yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I would agree with what you said about not it sucking, but more it feeling like homework. I did make the deadline, and I was cutting it very close. I would say probably if it was a class, I would have emailed my professor for an extension.
And to clarify, you made the deadline.
I did make the deadline. I was up to the wire, but honestly, that's what made it the most thrilling and exciting to write. I felt like there were times where I was hitting a brick wall and I didn't know what to do, and then there were times where the words were flowing out of me faster than I could type them. So, hopefully some of that reads in here, but overall it was amazing. So without further ado, should we begin reading?
Yeah. I wrote the first chapter, which is obviously just setting up kind of the scene for the rest of the book. Emma's going to read a portion of my chapter. I'm going to have her kind of read the part where Amanda discovers that there's really something bad happening. And I will say I kind of messed around with the form a bit. And that'll make more sense in a minute. So take it away. Okay.
Finally back in the office, Amanda decided to get to the bottom of this herself. On the server, she was able to find documents boasting the number of new businesses and new jobs created thanks to their committee, but ultimately thanks to President Charles Gunkel. It was part of his presidential agenda to create this initiative to help the economy thrive. He wanted to create 1 million new jobs in the year following his inauguration. According to the publicly available data, he created somewhere close to 900,000 new jobs, thanks to the 5,000 or so businesses opened under this initiative. But something felt off. She continued reviewing the economic reports and analyzing the small business data she could find online. It was page after page of soaring numbers and results to celebrate. She saw a series of success stories from the president's administration, with the help of the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee, had been touring as part of the economic recovery. These businesses, according to the reports, were thriving, expanding, hiring, and contributing to a rapidly improving job market. A kind of success that would surely play well with voters ahead of the upcoming election. But she couldn't get Poppy's Poppies, or the guys shouting at the television at the bar, or the protesters out of her head. Something wasn't adding up. She went back to the common drive on the committee's server and poked around until she found a folder labeled Gunkel Businesses. She opened it to find a couple hundred more files like the one she was assigned, only digitized. She looked through them, file by file, looking up the addresses listed and searching for any online presence. To her surprise, all of these businesses come up as real. All 200 of them. But that's nowhere near the number President Gunkel had been touting. She searched for Poppy's Poppies in this shared drive. Nothing. This is a beautiful song that Sarah included. I unfortunately cannot sing, but I'm going to try to say it in the most melodic tone that I can. I walked in with... I walked in with a dream, a fresh start. Thought I'd make a change, play my part. But the numbers don't add up, the facts don't fit. I'm starting to wonder, is this all just it? They tell me it's thriving, jobs on the rise. But when I look closer, all I see are lies. Shell companies and empty streets. Where's the progress? Where's the beat? Amanda got up from her desk and did a lap around the office. She took a note of the names of the businesses written on every intern's file. She searched for each one on the shared drive. Vanguard Solutions Group, Clearview Strategies, Skyline Industries Group, Alpha Prime Holdings, nothing. No documentation of these supposed businesses anywhere. Oh, I didn't sign up for this fight. Clear as light. They're building a future built on fright. She shut her computer in frustration and looked around the room. Who else knew? Who else was in on this? She looked at Senator Carroll in the office. His legs were propped up on his desk, and he was solving a Rubik's Cube. Not a care in the world. She glanced at Greta, who seemed to be working harder than anyone else in the office. But what was she doing? What was she hiding? Behind the curtain. Behind the curtain, there's a lie. They're pulling strings, but I can't deny. I thought I'd find the truth, but I see the spin, a fake economy they're trying to win. They're hiding the truth behind closed doors, but I won't stay quiet anymore. Suddenly, two hands slammed down on her desk. Frantically, he sings. I'll stand tall, I'll call it out, expose the lies, erase the doubt. No more pretending, no more disguise. I'll show the world what they're trying to hide. Hank grabbed Amanda's hand. He walked over to his desk, where he had some economic reports pulled up on his computer. They looked a lot different than the ones Amanda found. Where did you get these? I've been looking, but I've been doing my own research, just like you, I guess. He sat down at his desk and parsed through a lot of the dense material and numbers on his screen. I'm with you, Amanda. I wasn't able to find much on my own, but I think together we could really do something. And Sam? She looked over and saw Sam scrolling on her phone, unaware of the rest of the world. She can help. I mean, she knows what's going on, as much as we do, but come on, let's do this. Behind the curtain, there's a lie, but I won't let it lie. I'll speak the truth, I'll raise my voice. We deserve more than their fake choice. They can't help. They can't keep hiding behind their doors. I won't stay quiet, not anymore. No more lies, no more chains. We're breaking through. We'll stake our claim. Where do we start? Okay, so next is my chapter. The tagline that Theo gave me to work with was Amanda discovers more. So I was working with limited information, and this is what we got.
Did she feel guilty for seducing Richard so he wouldn't notice her swiping his ID? Yes. But it was a sacrifice she was willing to make in order to find out who was behind the fraudulent small businesses that threatened to dismantle the current administration. After returning to the Capitol, breathless from her bike ride, she had muttered a series of apologies to Hank, who was of course nothing but understanding. She had decided there was such a thing as too nice, and that was Hank. She tucked away Richard's ID into her pocket, laying out her plans for later that night. Lifting her balaclava enough to pull 2 bobby pins out of her hair, Amanda kneeled in front of the door to the Oval Office. She made quick work of picking the lock and pushed the door open. The security here was really quite lax. She should speak to someone about that. Amanda inhaled deeply as she walked through the door. Closing the door behind her, Amanda let herself take in the magnificent mahogany desk before her for a few breaths before charging ahead towards it. The office smelled like sandalwood and oak. She leafed through the papers on the desk before opening the top drawer. There. Pages and pages of notes. all in President Gunkel's handwriting. Detailed plans regarding the shell companies lay before her. Lists of parent companies, fabricated names of small businesses, contracts about who could be trusted within the government. She noticed Senator Carroll's name at the top of the list. A scrawled bullet point list summarized what Amanda had feared. Make shell companies. Fake small biz actually run by friends and corporations. Tell them to keep their mouths shut. IOU Elon, give Tesla a big promotion. Jeff plus Amazon too, so helpful with last election. Don't tell anyone. Voters love actual small businesses. Pin on someone if discovered. E.g. new intern at Small Biz and Entree. Amanda Hugenkis. That's her last name. Seems like easy target. Small biz name ideas. Tell Sen Carroll to make happen in Small Biz Committee. Whisk and Whimsy Bakery. Poppies Poppies. Paws and Claws Pet Emporium. Silver Pine Candleworks. More like this, you get the vibe. Amanda couldn't believe what she held in her hands. Hard proof that the President of the United States was responsible for one of the biggest instances of political fraud in history, and that he had intended to pin it all on her from the beginning. She quickly pulled out her phone to snap a photo of the paper, along with as many other sheets she could find. Then she tucked the bulleted list into her bag, praying its absence wouldn't be noticed before she could expose it to the world. Suddenly, the doorknob shook. Amanda froze. Someone was picking the lock in a much sloppier fashion than she had, but still. She dove under the desk and pressed her cheek against the door, exactly where President Gunkel probably placed his feet each day. Ew. The door swung open and a pair of booted feet walked through the door and paused. It seemed like they were taking in the mahogany desk the same way she had. They had good taste. The boots slowly walked around the desk. Amanda could barely breathe. As soon as they came around the front of the desk, they would see her. And she would be tossed into political prison. Solitary confinement, probably. She knew what she had to do. The feet paused, and she took her chance. She swung out her legs in a classic sweeping kick. Ka-chow! The feet let out a strangled cry as the body attached to them fell heavily to the ground. Amanda leapt out from underneath the desk. Wham! She kicked the delinquent in the shins. Her father had taught her never to kick an opponent to the ground, but she thought he'd support her choice this time. This lawless offender deserved it. She was only doing what she had to do in order to protect her country. The ruffian on the ground was wearing a ski mask, pulled down low over his face, typical criminal behavior. Pressing her forearm against the neck of the man on the ground, she whipped off the hood. Her jaw fell open. She could not believe her eyes. Hank. What was he doing here? She knew what she was doing here, but him? He was the nicest, blandest person she'd ever met. He didn't have a mischievous bone in his entire body. She rejected his offers for lunch 4 times in the past 2 weeks, and he hadn't been upset once. Was he following her? Oh my god, Hank said. He was panicking. Who are you? This isn't what it looks like, I promise. Amanda almost rolled her eyes. So she hadn't pegged him completely wrong. She shoved him further into the ground in warning. She hoped he would know better than to make any sudden moves as she leaped off of him. Apparently not. His arm shot out, grabbing her ankle and pulling back. She fell forward, catching herself on the blue velvet couch. She struck her foot out towards his face, wincing as he heard a crunch followed by an exclamation of pain. She looked back to see him cupping his nose. Oops. She really hadn't meant to break anything. He pushed to his feet and faced her, blood dripping down his neck and soaking into his shirt. What was his plan here? Was he planning on silencing her? Permanently? Who knew Hank had such a dark side? A mildly pathetic one, but still. He lunged at her. She hadn't been expecting it, and he managed to pin her to the couch, grasping both of her wrists. She struggled beneath his hands before swinging her head forward and headbutting him right in his broken nose. Pow! Hank immediately fell backward with a cry, and Amanda lurched toward the door once again. She was almost out before she heard a choked voice behind her. Amanda? Shit. Amanda slowly turned around. How had he recognized her? No point in lying now. She sighed, removing her balaclava. Hopefully the shadows of the room kept her face hidden from the security cameras that surely lined the room. How did you know it was me? She asked. He gasped at her. She thought there might have been awe in his face despite the blood still leaking down it. I recognize the smell of your perfume, he responded carefully. As if they were still chatting over an afternoon cup of coffee. And the way you walk, of course he had. She hadn't counted on his obsession getting her into such a pickle. What are you doing here? It's the middle of the night, he asked when she didn't say anything. I'm trying to save our democracy. What did you have to say for yourself, she retorted. Our democracy isn't in need of saving. You attacked me. You broke my nose. He gasped, starting to sound more flustered. She hadn't noticed he hadn't answered her question. I didn't mean to break it, and you attacked me too, she pointed out. She could already feel her back starting to bruise. Because I thought you were a faceless assassin. You know, I would never purposely hurt you. You could see it was me, he cried. Whatever, this isn't the place to talk about this. We need to get out of here before someone comes to investigate the noise. Amanda said curtly. She began resorting to the office to its former state, restoring, my bad. Pillows on the couch, papers back in their neat piles. Hank just stood and watched her, seemingly still in shock. She grabbed his arm and dragged him out of the office, locking the door behind them. She pulled her balaclava back on and shoved Hank's over his bloody face, ignoring the gasp of pain he let out as it fell over his nose.
You'll have to read the whole book if you want to know why Hank broke into the Oval Office.
Because you really want to know.
It's quite interesting. All right, so Sarah's about to read a section of my chapter. My chapter, up until now, what you have missed is Amanda has a hard drive with a lot of more information she and Hank have uncovered about the conspiracy. And she's walking she lives 15 minutes away from the Washington Post. So she's on her way. Walking to the Washington Post to try and give them the hard drive. But the government has been stalking her at this point. They gave her even a ticket home, a train ticket to go home, and she decided she's not going to go home. Wow. She's gonna fight the good fight. So from there, yeah.
Okay. Amanda confidently walked out the door. She was faking it till she made it. She was nervous, but she knew she could hold her own if need be. She walked down the stairs out the front door. Then she started to jog. Her eyes were glancing everywhere. She was on edge. The dark D.C. streets of Shaw had never looked so menacing to her before. In each shadow, she saw a vision of her end. Behind every tree and every bush, she saw someone who wanted her gone. The White House loomed over her. An image of wrongful power and oppression emanated from the building. She was scared. A car drove by her. She froze. Was it the government agent? It was no one. It just drove by. They wouldn't come out and grab her, right? 10 more minutes. She turned the corner. Lights, blinding lights, cars in front of her. Suddenly 10 cars drove up from behind her. She was blocked, trapped. She looked to her left and right. Men in black suits were slowly closing in on her, and some women. Oh, they have women working for them now. She got in her fighting stance that her father had taught her. She slowly backed up. The men behind her would nearly be in striking distance. In 3, 2, slam. She got one of them right in the groin. Ow, he screamed. The men were aware of her strength now. They were on guard. One of them stepped forward. He was in a gray suit, so he stood out from the rest like a pumpkin in a tomato patch. Miss Huggins, please, just come with us. Do not make it harder for us than it needs to be. Why are you doing this? Stop covering everything up. Miss Huggins. I'm not asking. This is a request straight from the office of the president. He would like to see you. I'm sure he would, bitch. Amanda had been eyeing any possible way for her to escape. There was a small gap to her left. If she ran fast enough, she might be able to get out of here. But then what? they would catch her eventually. When they caught her, she would have given up her strategic advantage. They underestimated her. Please don't say that word. What, bitch? Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. I don't care, but some people in my unit might. I don't think that you guys would care about cursing. Wow, really? You like all of us? You think all of us have potty mouths or something like that? I guess I never thought about it. But more like curse words are part of most people's vocab. Amanda decided she would go with them. Okay. Gray Suit opened up a door for Amanda. She got in the car and it drove off right towards the White House. It was awkward in the car now. They were coming up to the Washington Post headquarters. Can I go pee? Can you hold it? You can hold it. I really can't. I can go in the woods. You can hold it. Truthfully, Amanda did not have to pee. She wanted to leave her hard drive as close to the Washington Post as possible. She needed to do something quick. She started to pee. I'm peeing. You're not peeing. I am peeing. Stop.
Come in.
I can't hold it. Stop the car. The car came to an abrupt stop. Don't try anything. Amanda ran out of the car. She went to the sidewalk and pulled her pants down. She started to pee. She quickly reached into her bra and grabbed the hard drive. She put it on the edge of the sidewalk. She knew that the Washington Post had a policy with unknown hard drives where they test them on a hard drive computer that is not connected to any network. She knew if they found this, it would be all the information they needed. She just had to sit and hope. She got up. She ran back to the car. Okay, let's go, she said. The car drove for a few more minutes. They went up the pearly gates of the White House. She had always imagined getting an invite to the White House, but never like this. In those visions, she was president. Right now, she was more like a prisoner. The gates opened, Secret Service all around. The cars came to a stop. She started to think about Richard back when they dated. In college, he studied psychology. She thought that was so hot. He knew how people thought, how to control them. Did he have anything to do with this plot? He had quickly risen the ranks within the White House office, which she thought was interesting, but had never thought he would be capable of anything like this. The men escorted her out of the car. The White House lawn was incredible, the night sky illuminated by the bright lights of the president's house. The fountain was immaculate. This whole place was larger than life. It was a shame that it was all a lie. Everything was a lie. Amanda was finding out. She walked towards the White House. They took her inside and down the hall. She remembered when she toured the White House in 6th grade that the room she was going to was off limits to most staffers. She had peeked her head in. It was just a room with a window, a chair, and a couch. She thought, why was this room off limits? Seems like she was about to find out.
Thank you guys so much. I hope everyone got a good enough refill of their drink and snack and everything. We're nearing the end of the reading, but before we get to it...
Before we begin the last chapter of the book, we wanted to just acknowledge the fact that our acknowledgements read to all who inspire and help us along our path to success, which is really all of you. Last chapter of the book was written by me. Just to catch you up to speed, when we all convened, however many months ago it was, I very quickly offered to Theo that I would write smut for this book. Which is really difficult. I don't know if anybody has ever tried to write smut, but wow, it's really awkward between you and your computer. It makes it's super vulnerable, and it's just really like if you ever read a smut book again, like oh my god, just know that your author went through a lot. So this is my best attempt at such. To catch you up to speed. Amanda is now in the process of trying to figure out what she is going to do with this information. The election is tomorrow, and she feels the weight of everything so heavily on her shoulders. She just finished a meeting with the last meeting of the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee, where the facts are reiterated about what's happening. Everybody's like, yes, we're going to win this election. The meeting ends, and she calls her dad, and thus is as follows. Might is not yet. She actually calls her father.
And just to preface before I start reading, just so you all know, I do have dyslexia, so if I mess up a little bit, that's my fault. So, Amanda is left alone. For a while, she only sits in place. Her tissue softens. Her limbs go limp. A chill trickles down the course of her spine. The kind that moves one uncontrollably. In that moment, Amanda lets go. For 3 seconds, her body takes over her mind. All she can do is jolt forward slightly. Amanda sighs. She thinks about crying, about letting heavy tears ooze from her corneas and leave salty skin marks on her cheeks. But before she can commence, she feels a buzz from her back pocket. She grabs her phone. Her dad. Hello, kissing me. I'm on my way to a solo date at Disney. They have a new Frozen 3 exhibit that I think will be display. Hello from Capitol Hill, on my way to contemplate my entire existence. Politics. How about that election tomorrow? Amanda and her dad are close, shockingly, seeing as they have about nothing in common. But the duo get what they need out of each other. Her dad, the current to-do on all things cultural, and Amanda, the connections and money. In fact, it was her Disney adult father who got her this internship with Carol. The two were roommates at Yale. Yeah, I'm not feeling too excited about that. Why not, my Minnie Mouse? Okay, well, first of all, I'm working for a Republican, and not like Mitt Romney, Father Material Republic, Red Republican. No, like moron. Like maroon. No, not even like mahogany. And like, I'm a socialist, anarchist even, and I don't believe in democracy. That's concerning. And Dad, there's, not to sound all QAnon and shit, but like there's something fishy going on. Uh-oh, fishy? Like Shark Tales level fishy? Yes, Shark Tales level. There's a long pause followed by a loud rustling. What's going on, Dad? Sorry, looking for my ears. What's the situation? Amanda realizes she hasn't yet uttered aloud what is going on. She looks around the room. She thinks about all the bills that were signed here, all the rights negotiated, all of the things that have been taken away, given back, and taken away again, all by some guys in wigs and suits who are valorized for no reason except they've tricked enough people into thinking they were shit, and now they get to make all the decisions and control those people's lives. Senator Carroll is doing something really corrupt, I think, and it's gonna win him and his Goonies the election. Oh, there are my ears. Yes, now let the Disney magic begin. Dad, oh sorry, Senator Carroll, corruption, election, yeah. Yeah? That's all you have to say? Yeah, I don't know, my Bambi. I feel like that's the name of the game, you know? Politicians will be corrupt. What can you do? Okay, well, he's your senator. Does that not at least give you some pause? Amanda began to raise her voice. What kind of corruption are we talking? Like economic corruption, like lying and flubbing, but in a way that's really detrimental to the everyday person. I see. You still don't care? Not really. It's not like my vote's gonna change. My bell is working for the guy. Of course I'm gonna vote for him. And whoever he endorses, hashtag proud dad moment. Can you wake up and listen to what I'm telling you? These people are about to win the election on a whole lot of bullshit and it's danger to everyone and you don't care. The adrenaline pushes Amanda up from her chair as she screams through the phone. Amanda, I got you this job. Don't be ungrateful. Disney dad out. The phone disconnects. With no thoughts attached, Amanda grabs her things, rises, and leaves the room. She walks like a robot down the corridors. A few people attempt to wave, but Amanda keeps her eyes forward, letting her vision lead her. She reaches her destination and walks into the vice president's office. She spots him standing at his desk. He's still here. Amanda slowly moves towards him, wanting him to hear every click against the marble, her classic 1991 Manolo base sale 70 suede wheels make. At about a click number 5, Richard lifts his head. Oh hey, I've actually been meaning to talk to you about the... Richard is cut off by Amanda meeting him only millimeters away from his face. Hi. He barely assembles a single syllable. Amanda says nothing back. She just stares and breathes on him. In, out, in, out. Each breath intensifies in sound and gusto. Wait, are you okay? What is... She takes a step forward, pushes him backwards, and goes in tongue first. Of course, Richard leans in right away. Beneath her, Amanda feels him exhale whatever he was doing before and now breathe her in like nitrous oxide. Just as Amanda's about to bite down on Richard's lip, his favorite, the door to the office inside swings open, and out walks the president and the vice president. Oh shit, Phillips, would you look at that? Richard pushes Amanda off him. She stumbles back. She gawks at him. Okay, Dom, she says under her POTUS Gunkel, VP POTUS Phil Phillips. I'm sorry, I can explain, Richard pleads. Save your breath. We all deserve a little oxytocin on election day eve. Just get a room and get someone to get me a PSL Trenta, please. I was just showing the president out. Thank you, V. POTUS. Thank you. The two rush out of the room, rushing down the hall, squealing. I know a place, Amanda says, playfully slapping Richard's hand. Oh, yeah? Yeah, follow me, Mr. Whitehouse. This place is my bitch. Amanda turns the corner and pushes open the first door on her left. The two enter. Dude, no way. No, not here. Wait. What? Why not? They're not in session right now. Because isn't this like holy ground? Holy ground for what? Like democracy? Amanda explodes. Who the fuck cares about democracy? Okay? Democracy is gone. Dunzo. No one cares about democracy anymore. They just vote on vibes. Plus, if democracy was real, then the entire Republican Party wouldn't be committing major fucking artifice to win the election. Wow. Richard, yeah. Remember when I asked you to look into that business Poppies? Yeah, well, that was because after taking notes for that dumb, stupid, bitch-ass committee, I thought something didn't add up. Turns out that all these new jobs and new businesses being created are actually not being created of their own fruition, but are just shell companies for motherfucking Tesla. Yeah. You know that ugly asswipe Elon Musk? The one whose lips are always closed like he's holding in a fart? Who renamed Twitter to make it sound like a porn site? The whole fucking soap opera of a government is basically just to let him rock. So yeah, that's been weighing on me a lot, as you can imagine. And now I need to decide whether or not I want to be a whistleblower. And I didn't even know what that word meant 6 months ago. And I know I have a political science degree, but somehow I missed that one. And there's not exactly a WikiHow on how to be a whistleblower, so I'm kind of like freaking out here. So to your question, Richard, no, I don't consider this holy ground, because everyone here is a fucking criminal fraudster pervert. So, with that, I'm going to fuck you on the Senate floor. Richard pauses. Okay. He grabs Amanda's hand and leads her down the right aisle to a desk she knows all too well. Fuck that guy, Richard pushes the plaque dotting the name Charles Carroll off of the desk onto the floor. He picks Amanda up and places her on the desk. The two ferociously make out like maybe the last thing in politics for that matter. Richard undoes his belt and lets his pants drop. No foreplay? Questions Amanda. Majority rules. What army? Richard pulls out his boxers and points to the flaccid reveal.
Shut the fuck up.
He chuckles, and you have no veto power against us. Guess I'll have to concede to another term, Amanda says, pulling him closer. As Richard becomes one with Amanda, she can't help but scream out, "Move over, Monica Lewinsky, I'm the Hill's biggest slut now!" In classic Richard form, he lasts about 3 minutes. Perhaps the gloriousness of the setting did him in even more than usual. Right before he releases himself, Richard, of his own stupidity, makes sure to say something that verifies that this is the last Amanda-Richard crossover for a while. Filibuster? I barely know her. He says with a moan. He leaves Amanda and takes a step back. "And we're done here," replies Amanda, refusing to look him in the eyes. She smooths out her dress, tosses her hair, and makes her way up along the long rows of desks.
Well, folks, I think we all had a great time tonight, and more importantly, we learned something. But now is an opportunity for you all to learn things that you've been dying to know for the past hour and few minutes. So, yes, exactly. Caroline, go ahead.
Hi. My question's actually for the final chapter author. Why was he flaccid?
That's just the type of guy Richard is.
Thank you very much. Big fan, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, right here.
So what's next for Amanda?
Well, should we tell them? We are working on...
This is a crazy reveal. So early in the Q&A.
We had to, we couldn't lie. We are in the works. We are going to be working on a new novel. Whether it focuses on Amanda's story or not is up in the air. We still have to get our creative process together, but there's certainly more for Amanda in the coming work. So it might not be centered around Amanda, but she will certainly feature in the new novel.
It's in her universe.
It's in the universe.
Yeah.
Sure, let's go in the back here.
Hi, I'm Georgia. It's obviously sort of like a dystopian novel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if you think like people in government would actually do something like that.
Do something like what?
fraudulent. Just doesn't
Oh,
seem
yeah,
right.
definitely. Definitely. You know, I think we were all inspired by current events. You know, we all read the headlines.
What?
What happened?
If you don't know, now you know. Yeah, but you know, actually, it's funny because a lot of this we wrote like early November before anything happened, and it's already coming true.
Elon Musk has become basically what we've written him as.
Honestly, it's crazy.
If anybody works in government and they want to pass this along, your guess.
Grace?
My question for you, this is, kind of with current events. In your next work, will there be more Elon Musk slander? Can we count on that as your readers?
We count on it. If not directly, it will be undertones of that. We can't guarantee that there will be direct Elon slander.
It's
but-
always Elon slander.
That's what I wanted to hear.
I have two questions. The first one,
Looking at me.
the first one is if the book is available on the Nook. On the e-store.
I can see what I can do
It is available for purchase online.
online at
We can
bookbaby.com.
Yeah,
we'll send the
and
link.
over.
On the Nook, the thing about the Amazon ecosystem.
It's the Barnes and Noble.
Oh, the Barnes and Noble. Sorry, I was thinking Kindle, and Nook are different.
Completely different.
You're right. I'm so sorry. What I was gonna say is to put it on every platform would have cost me an extra $200. And so for now, it's exclusively available on bookbaby.com. The book is $12 on bookbaby.com, and we'll be selling them for $10 here today. My mom and her friend bought a copy. Do I have the check? And I got a check for $10. That'll be somewhere right here, but I'll show it off later.
As a current government worker,
I'm
really-
You should come up here.
I'm just wondering how, like, me and everyone else, like, how we can channel our inner Amanda. You know what I mean? Like, how do we be like?
Read the documents, note-taking, like, investigate.
So true.
Follow your gut.
There's always fraud.
Yeah. If your gut's telling you something, yeah, it's probably true.
Any other questions? Yeah, right here.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there are any talks of a film or television adaptation.
That's so
Whether
funny
that's
you
something
say
you guys would be
that.
open to. I'm also wondering who your dream actress to play Amanda would be.
Should we go down the line and say our
Yeah,
That was the
yeah.
best
Well,
question
first
so
we were
far.
I was
talking
thinking
about
about
like
it.
a live stage adaptation first.
Yeah.
And then maybe moving into film and TV. You know, we don't want to like hit the market too fast. We want to generate a lot of interest
But
first.
stranger things have happened, you know.
Yeah.
And then should we go down the line and say our favorites, who we'd want to play her?
Yeah, speaking of Stranger Things, I don't know, like Bobby Brown.
Wow.
She's British.
I think you should do it, Theo.
Wow, I would be honored.
You just like really see the soul of Amanda.
That means a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe Anne Hathaway.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe Emma Stone could be interesting, or maybe Beanie Feldstein.
Okay. Any final questions, folks? Or yes, Eleanor.
Will you be releasing an audiobook?
Great question. Yes, that is in the works. The audiobook is gonna just be my voice. I haven't started recording yet, but tomorrow I'm getting an XLR cable, so I can plug in my microphone to my computer, and I can start recording the audiobook. I'm deciding whether to put it on Audible or just charge people like $1 to have the audio file. Maybe I'll have both options available.
Yes, Sadie.
I'd love to hear from every author what you what you learned about yourself through writing in Amanda's voice.
That's a good question.
I could start and then we can go down from my way. So I think it was interesting to get into the voice of Amanda. I feel like recently I've become a bit more cynical about the world. I feel like I don't have any agency, I can't make any change. But what was interesting was Amanda is such a capable character, such a capable protagonist. She's studied, she's learned, she's put in the work to be a strong character, a strong person, and it inspired me to want to put in that work for my own self, you know what I mean? Like, learn some Taekwondo, or my own version of Taekwondo, which could be a different thing. But
Yeah.
My own version of Taekwondo could be anything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's a metaphor.
Yeah.
For me, I would say I'm not a very creative person typically. I have like a typical corporate 9 to 5, so I don't really get to be creative. So this was kind of, I don't know what I learned necessarily, but I will say that it was fun to express myself creatively and have a project separate from the normal work that I do. And I look forward to writing more in the future.
I feel like it was really empowering to write my Amanda because girl's a little dumb. And you know what? I think that, dumb women deserve a place in politics too. Let's even out the gender ratio in politics. Because you know what? I think that dumb women can really fuck shit up sometimes in that political arena, and she certainly did that. So you know what? If you know a girl like that, just give her a pat on the back and tell her to keep going.
I didn't say that. It's bad.
Yeah, I'm from DC.
Yeah.
In the book, you might see a couple DC facts hidden in there, so that was pretty fun.
I wouldn't say hidden.
So yeah, overall, Amanda's a bit of an unreliable narrator. She changes her mind a lot throughout the book, which you might notice. And I think that was interesting to explore this, kind of complex psyche of this woman. So.
Yes. I have a question for Sarah. So, Sarah, as someone who does data visualization, how would Amanda go about, visualizing the data from those leaks? Can you do something with them, or?
She would probably start by making a data flow in the Microsoft 365 environment. She might use Power BI to make
Not Tableau.
What?
Not Tableau.
No. They don't have their licenses at the government. She might do an ArcGIS thing if she was mapping something, but I think for the most part she'd stick with Power BI and just Thank you very much.
Any fun? Yes.
I know there's been a lot of talk about adaptations, but how do we feel about a children's series?
Wow!
I don't know.
Great.
I think that children are, they should be exposed to everything early. So in that case, I think it's suitable for all ages. But, I'm willing to take on the moms, so.
Yeah, there's definitely some good lessons in here for any people of all ages.
But I don't know, you get it illustrated.
Yeah.
Anybody's an
couple
artist.
illustrations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say the cover, there's a little bit of AI use in the cover.
Get out!
Just a little, just a tiny bit. Just a shadowy figure, that's it.
That's horrible.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I made it really quick.
I've never looked at this hair.
All right, we're gonna do one last question from Max Fan.
Fuck. Okay. I'm 95% sure I know the answer to this, but is it an actual policy if they find a USB like out? And they're like,
So that was my chapter. I figured they must have some policy because how else would that happen? But I don't know if that's the official policy, but I assume so. I assumed yes. But
Great question.
yeah.
No, let's give it up one more time.
Now we're gonna open up the books to be bought, and we're gonna do a signing as well.
And